How does that even make sense? Like, you are trying to see how things can be worked out in a civilized manner, and all of a sudden you just bomb the country because you have power. How does that make sense? Hello everybody, welcome to another video right here on the Dummy Effect React. Here we are reacting to Marc Lamont Hill explains the bombing of Iran. Okay, and I kind of want to hear what he has to say, because he's actually, I think if we've heard him talk about this somewhere before. I think he actually has like some knowledge about this issue, about this thing, and I would like it would really be interesting to hear what he has to talk about. It will really be interesting to hear. So without further ado, let's listen to what he's got to say.
Let's start with the war. Let's hit the war. Let's hit the war. I think. Let's hit the war. Let's hit the war.
Let's knock the war out, man.
We got to start with the war.
No other way to do it.
That's the responsible thing to do, and this is a responsible podcast.
That's true. That's what we're known for.
So, since the last time you all were here, it's just ugly. The United States and Israel launched an attack on Iran. It's an attack that has resulted in lots of death. We saw the first day 50 school children killed. The next day we saw almost 3 times that amount. We've seen people hiding in the streets. People in Tehran, Iran, are like in bomb shelters. Schools are being destroyed. Lots of innocent lives lost. Iran has responded by hitting some of the nuclear bases. I'm sorry, not the nuclear. Some of the military bases, excuse me, in the Gulf, places like Bahrain and other places. It's a really ugly situation. And I'm gonna get right to it. It's an unnecessary situation. This did not need to happen. The idea that Iran was on the verge of a nuclear weapon is the argument that they've been making every month for the last 30 years. Yeah, it's just what they say. There's no proof of it. And in fact, they were in negotiations the very day of the bombing to make sure that Iran...
Sorry, which is why it was crazy to me that how can you people be in the process of negotiations and all of a sudden you bomb the country you are negotiating with? How does that even make sense? Like, you are trying to see how things can be worked out in a civilized manner, and all of a sudden you just bomb the country because you have power. How does that make sense? How does that help anybody in this world that we're living in? So you're trying to say nobody can even trust? If in this case, if the Europeans or the rest of the NATO allies trust America, then it's on them, because they can never be trusted. You can't have a problem with somebody, and while you're negotiating, which is the normal thing to do, while you're negotiating to see how everybody's gonna see eye to eye, you just randomly bombed the country you're negotiating with without finishing negotiations. That's a bully mentality, bro.
Iran's nuclear program didn't expand. Although we could have a conversation about why everybody in the world can have a nuclear weapon except brown people and black people.
Exactly.
Israel got one, US got one, France got one. You know, we could keep going, but like suddenly when certain people get it, it's a problem. But there was no evidence that they had one. And so the bombing was unnecessary, and it served a bigger interest. And so the idea that you can indiscriminately bomb another country, the idea that you can kill the leader of a sovereign nation. I'm talking about Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who's the supreme leader of Iran. Like, the fact that all that can happen and we're pretending that it's okay. And I don't mean us up here. I mean too much of the global community speaks to how heavy the propaganda is. And so
you kill a leader of a country out of nowhere without provocation. There's no provocation, and everybody's just sitting quiet. It's like, what the hell? At the end of the day, you are acting like there's no decorum in this whole democracy thing that we have in this world. It means at the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck about any system. Nobody cares about any system. If you can just bomb a country, first of all, they went to Venezuela, captured the president. Sovereignty does not matter. Now, they went to Iran, killed the leader. Sovereignty does not matter. So, at the end of the day, if you do not see eye to eye with America or with the United States, then your sovereignty does not matter. Nobody cares about you, unless if you have a nuclear weapon or nuclear bomb because there because they don't see eye to eye with Russia. You don't see them running into Russia to kill the president of Russia. They don't see eye to eye with China. You don't see them going into China to kill the leader of the Chinese party. They don't see eye to eye with the supreme leader with Kim Jong Un of North Korea. You don't see them rushing into North Korea to kill Kim Jong Un because all of those people have nuclear weapons, multiple nuclear weapons. So they cannot just go in there and try to capture their leader. Which means if the best way to keep peace in this world as it is right now is for everybody to just have nuclear weapons, to just have a nuclear head, nuclear bomb for your own safety. That is the best way. Like the French president said, the only way to be feared, that I'm quoting, I don't know if I'm quoting the right way, but the only way to be feared is to have a nuclear weapon. Oh no, the only way to have freedom is to be feared. Yeah. The only way to be actually free is to be feared. And what other way to be feared than having a nuclear weapon? So,
We are in a very serious war, and people are dying everywhere. Journalists are dying, citizens are dying, teachers are dying. We just saw 11 people die, including some children die in Israel, in Jerusalem in particular, 2 days ago. So this is getting ugly, and it's only going to get uglier. Donald Trump says that he's prepared for this mission to take 5 weeks, but he could go far longer if it needs to. That word "need" is doing a lot of work in that sentence because there's a very clear plan here, and it's been in play for a long time. I don't think this is going to be 5 weeks, and I think there's going to be another excuse and another pretext for more illegal, unnecessary, indefensible violence. So this is a crazy time, and I just need everybody to know how crazy this time is. Everybody listening, everybody watching. The world is on fire, y'all, on so many places and in so many ways, and this is another thing. And while this is happening, people are being bombed in Lebanon. People are being bombed in Gaza, partly because the smoke screen is up about what's happening in Iran. So, everybody finally just do your own research. Don't just listen to mainstream cable news. Don't just listen to the liberals or the conservatives, because a lot of them are also filled with the propaganda that Iran is the bad country. We're the good people. We've been doing that since Hulk Hogan in Iron Sheik. You know what I mean? Like, we've been taught that since we were kids, and it's never been true. It's always more complicated, and we got work to do in terms of education.
How do you propose to be educated when? I'm agreeing with you,
Yeah.
but I'm just a question. Like, how do you propose we educate ourselves for the people out there when mainstream media is the main vice that everybody uses for data?
It's so interesting, and I agree that's the problem. I think the same way we find alternate insights, people live on YouTube for everything else.
That's true.
When we want to find a theory about why an album didn't come out, or what an artist really meant, or what a lyric means backwards, or all these debate, all this shit, we can find this information. One thing is to listen to the people in that country. Yeah. Don't just listen to our state media, listen to Iran media. And I'm not saying believe everything Iranians tell you. I'm saying listen to media from other places. I work at Al Jazeera. I'm biased, but I think Al Jazeera is a great place to get alternate perspectives.
That's what they're saying. They're saying that you guys are giving probably the most truthful reports of what's going on around the world.
I think
That's
so
what
too,
they're saying.
because we don't sugarcoat this. I mean, there are people, because the other piece of this is they're going to say Iranians are not free. They're going to say Muslim women in particular in Iran are not free. LGBTQ folk in Iran are not free. And again, that's such a lazy analysis. People are unfree in a lot of places. It doesn't give us the right to go there and kill their leaders. It doesn't give us a right to wage war against them. Ayatollah Khomeini is not the greatest person on earth. Right, I can hold space for that truth and hold space for the truth that the U.S. had no right to go out and murder him. True. And those two things have to come in. And there's a long-standing narrative in the West about the Middle East, which is that we need white men to save brown women from brown men. So we always say we're going to go out there and liberate the women. That's what we said in Afghanistan. That's what we said in Iran. That's what we say in Pakistan. Right. Wherever we go, we're going to liberate the women. Operation Iraqi Freedom. And all we do is go in and plunder and destroy. And we don't allow them to rebuild. We occupy. We take over. It's basically imperialism by new means. And so the way to get to that truth is to go to those places. Listen to those. I don't mean visit. I'm saying you can just listen to media from other people. The great thing about this media universe is that you don't have to go to Iran to get an Iranian perspective. You don't have to travel to get a podcast from young people who are saying, look at what's happening to our country. You can hear the voices of those kids in those bomb shelters. We can do that by just going.
Do you have any, excuse me, do you have any like suggested places, specifics?
There's two.
Because
right?
again, with the way the internet is now, with all this AI shit, you don't know what's real.
It's the Wild West.
You really have no idea what you're looking at. You could think an article is real. You could think a video is real. So do you have some people that are verified that's like, hey, this person is telling the truth about what's going on over there?
The two places I would go, one is Al Jazeera, but two is I've also grown to really like Zeteo, Zeteo. Yeah. That's Mehdi Hassan. He's the one that used to be arguing and debating and shutting people down. He wrote that book. I think you read the book or had the book on how to the art of debating or the art of winning a debate or something like that. How to win any debate. We were talking about it. One of us was. We were talking about it. But Mehdi Hassan, he used to be at MSNBC. He has a whole network called Zeteo. They got live coverage. They got footage from people on the ground. They got books. Or Substacks. They got all that stuff. I would go there and just start there, and then you'll enter that world. Mm-hmm. And this is another time finally to listen to Twitter or X. Because people not everybody on X, but the people who don't have any other means of getting their voice out, just like when we were in Ferguson, just like we saw in Gaza, like people are there saying, hey, here's our story. We have access to it. So this is a big deal, y'all. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. This is huge. And this could change all of our lives. Sure. And even if you only care about oil.
Gas prices.
And gas prices. Because right now, the Straits of... what's it called?
Strait of Hormuz.
Hormuz. Thank you. It's closing, right? Mm-hmm. The ability for tankers to get through. Some people are shutting down complete oil production because again, the Gulf states are getting hit in retaliation. Mm-hmm. So that means that even if you just don't want to pay $5 a gallon for gas, you want this shit to stop. You should care about people. You should care about human life. But even if you just care about your pockets.
What are the long-lasting effects in the event that they do shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which I learned is apparently responsible for 20...
Everybody all of a sudden start paying like some crazy amounts for a liter of petrol or gas, whatever you guys measure in your country. Like everything goes. It's not only that, because if the gas prices go up, everything else go up. Everything else get expensive, because at the end of the day, the gas is what they use to ship all of those things, or to drive all of the things that are coming to the shops around you. You know, those are the things that are. So if that goes up, everything else go up.
% of all of the oil flow.
On a smaller, way less important note, you can see the immediate price jumps in just Home Depot and Amazon. Like, I'm working on a house. Dog, overnight, damn near, some of the stuff, like I had mad shit in my Amazon cart. Yeah. Literally, they send you a memo saying this is went up by $4. This is went up by $6. And it's like something that costs $30. For that shit to go up by $4, that's a lot. Right. You get what I'm saying? Because we just look at oil as oil. We just look at gas as gas. Yeah. Yo, carpet is made with petroleum products. Mm-hmm. Roofing shit is made with petroleum products. Thread, all of that stuff. Everything comes from a machine that's running on oil, or oil and petroleum byproducts itself make a bunch of things that we use, whether it's fucking lotion,
packaging, cosmetics,
mad shit.
Not just that.
All of that stuff, yo, is a direct reflection of what's going. If this oil production gets stopped, dog, they said that even in the Venezuela shit. To your point. Going over there bombing Iran is some bullshit. But he went in Venezuela and literally took the leader based on somebody you saying, I don't like what you're doing, we're going to just kidnap you. Right. Cool. Venezuela now can't take oil to Cuba. They said basically Cuba is fucked up right now because their machines and infrastructure runs on oil and gas. It's not just for heating and for putting in your cars. So many other things are relying upon oil and gas that we don't think about on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? Like making sneakers or some stupid shit.
Clothing, yeah.
Yeah, it just relies on that stuff. So if you can't import or export oil or fuel for all of these purposes, it's fucking the world up, not just us. We selfishly look at a bunch of this shit like it only is affecting us at the gas pump. It's people's kids that are starving because they can't do certain shit.
And it's not just that. Price it, like you're saying, gas price up, delivery. So now everything that you get, all of that. Now what happens when that delivery company got to pay more? They're going to pass that cost on to a customer.
We like Uber Eats.
Niggas, everything,
that shit it's high enough.
Everything is going out.
Yeah. And you say that they were in negotiations, and from what they shared,
that's the messed up part. That's what I keep. Sorry for cutting, but it's just crazy that you are actually in active negotiations, and all of a sudden, you bomb the country that you're negotiating with. The fuck is that? What do you mean by?
Those negotiations seem to be getting somewhere before they were abruptly ended. When they say that, and when I hear that on the news, what are they negotiating?
So the argument was,
is that us just going over there trying to get some shit and them saying no and protecting their resources, and us not? That's
actually what I think it was. I feel like they were asking for a specific thing, and they knew that they were going to say no to that thing, and I say, okay, so we're just gonna bomb you now, I guess.
Being happy with get down or lay down type shit.
It's a little bit of, it's a couple of things. So basically, the idea from Iran's perspective is, and we saw this with Syria, Iraq, other places too, is we have a right to develop uranium, for example. Uranium is important. You need uranium for lots of things, not just making bombs. But you do need uranium to make nuclear weapons. Israel, in this case, is saying, we don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon because they pose an existential threat to us, which is itself a conversation. That's another conversation for another time. I don't agree with that position. It's not a true position, and it ignores the fact that Israel also has its own nuclear weapons in Dimona in southern Israel, right? But the point is, so the world's community is saying, all right,
but the places that we're cool with having nuclear weapons, we have boots on the ground.
Some of them, or we have proxies. So like in Israel, we don't have boots on the ground, but we don't care, right? Yeah. In the late 1970s, there's something called the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement, which basically said that none of us...
Excuse me? You don't have boots on the ground in Russia. You don't have boots on the ground in China. You don't have boots on the ground in North Korea, but they have nuclear. So what are you saying? Please make it make sense. Man.
Basically, we can't keep growing nuclear weapons because this has to stop. Otherwise, everybody's going to die. Mm-hmm. A lot of countries signed it. Some countries said we're not going to grow anymore. Other countries said we don't have any. Other countries said we're going to have them, but we're going to keep right where we are. Israel was founded in 1948, did not sign that agreement, but also isn't supposed to have them. That's why they'll never say they don't lie and say we don't have them because they want you to know they have them, but they won't say we have them because that would be a violation of the law. It's a very fine line that a lot of countries thread. Other countries that we know have them that aren't supposed to have them, we just pretend we don't know. It's like the homie in the club that got a gun that got past security. Everybody be cool. If nothing happened, we'll be fine. But with Iran, they're like, no.
And he'll shoot.
Right. And with Iran, what the world has basically said is we don't want a war. We don't want proliferation either. So let's figure out how you all cannot build a nuclear weapon. We want to stop you. So the agreement was, and this is what Obama came up with, right? This was the big Iran deal. They said, well, we'll make a deal with you. You can develop uranium, but not too much, not atomic levels. You can develop enough because you need it for heat. You need it for other things. There's lots of reasons to have it. You can develop it. You just can't develop it this much. Well, how do we know if they're lying or not? Well, it's hard to develop a nuclear bomb in hiding. You know what I mean? Certain things you can do in a small room. A nuclear weapon ain't one of them. So the idea was we'd have the United Nations inspectors travel over there on a regular basis, search the whole country, everything's up for grabs, and we can look and see if you've built it. We can also see how much uranium you've enriched. This was part of the deal. Trump came in and got rid of the deal.
Immediately.
Because you could argue they did that because they didn't really want peace. They wanted a beef with Iran. They wanted you to bump dude in the club so that he could pull out. You get what I'm saying?
Why?
Because Israel does not want Iran to exist.
Okay, we're back to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is not an American concern. This is an Israeli concern, and because the United States views Israel as its biggest ally in the Middle East and its outpost, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, we want to follow their lead. And so in some ways the tail is wagging the dog. We're the superpower, but we're following their lead because we have interests together.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So all that's tied together. So that's basically it. So the deal, so when Trump came, he blew it all up, no pun intended. And so now it became
Tell that to the American mother that had her kid go out there and fucking
think about it. One of my homegirls is in Qatar right now.
Yeah.
She went to school with your wife, matter of fact. Yeah, is in Qatar right now. And they
Don't talk about my family.
Shut up. And they saying that like she got kids and a husband and all of that, and they just like, yo, the niggas is petrified.
No Joe Budden.
Yeah, man, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's crazy, bro. I don't know what this world is getting into, but please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next one.